Today, in our podcast / YouTube video, I'm going to be talking about counting the cost and how just because you can do something, maybe doesn't mean that you should. Yes, that is an upturned wagon behind me. Don't ask, you don't want to know. A lot of the time, when it comes to weight loss, we'll see pictures of people, we know they aren't real, they're photoshopped. I mean, the person is real, but they actually don't look that way if you just saw them walking on the street. But we think, but why couldn't I be that way? Why couldn't I attain that? At least that's something that I think or that I have thought before, and I know other people have thought that too that I know personally. Yeah, maybe you could be super skinny, maybe you could be super ripped, but at what cost? Because when it comes down to it, the reason that we want to look a certain way is usually because we think our lives would somehow be better if we looked that way. And maybe that's true. Maybe if you were thinner, you would have a better life. But I want you to be really, really careful about only thinking that your life's going to be better because you lose weight. Because I'm here to tell you that's not always going to be true. I have been 30 pounds lighter than I am now. And I mean, I'm not an overweight person, right? So back when I was 100, I'm not going to say how much I weighed because I don't know. Sometimes that can get kind of weird. So back when I was lighter, I was really fatigued, really irritable. All I thought about was food. Yeah, I looked like a freaking ballerina. It was pretty cool. But my life, my quality of life was so low that it was not worth how I looked. Honestly, I never really thought about how I looked so much as I thought, how can I maintain this look? So it wasn't so much appreciating the body I lived in, it was more of living in fear of the body that might happen to me if I ate too much or if I ate the wrong thing. This is not true of everyone. I'm not saying everyone who's skinny is unhappy, fatigued, that their lives would be better if they gained 30 pounds. That's not true. But I want you to think about yourself, you as an individual. And if you are overweight, I'm not saying you don't need to lose weight, but just count the cost of losing a lot of weight and make sure that it's actually going to make your life better. So in a really simple way to find this kind of solution, in my opinion, would be focus on your focus point. Is your focus point, I want to be skinny because that's going to make my life better? Or is it that I have really high blood pressure, I have no energy, I have fatigue, that's why I want to lose weight? That's a good reason to want to lose weight. This over here, honestly, it's a bad reason, in my opinion. Now you can disagree with me and do whatever you want. This is me sharing my opinion. So if you think I'm overweight, I need to lose weight, I would really encourage you, don't think so much about the weight and the numbers. Think about other tangible, doable goals that are really important that you really do need to change your life. And I bet you that you're going to stick with losing weight and living healthier as opposed to just focusing on being skinny, because in the end, being skinny is not worth it. But having lower blood pressure, living longer, being able to run around after your kids, being able to enjoy sports again. Maybe you have always liked to play softball or something, but you have really high blood pressure, so you can't do it. If you can lose weight and lower your blood pressure, you might be able to enjoy that sport again and have higher quality of life. Because in my opinion, the bodies that we have are here to give us higher quality of life and to give those around us higher quality of life. So for instance, if I am super foggy brain because I'm not eating enough, I'm not going to be as good of a mother to my son. So it would be better if I weighed 10 more pounds and was a good mother to my son than for me to be super ripped and to not be a good mother to my son. But with that same mindset, it's also not good for me to overeat and be in a food coma. Again, not going to be a good mother to my son. It's all about where my focus is, as opposed to if I'm just focused on being skinny, I might fall into that trap of being fatigued because I'm not eating enough. I hope this is making sense to you. Because I know sometimes, sorry, my chair is falling. I'm like on like a little rocky path here and I fall over a lot. So what I'm trying to say is make sure your focus point where you're starting from is actually a good place. And that it's actually something that you are going to be able to sustain and is a healthy idea and a healthy behavior. Proactive way that you can find a good focus point for yourself is write down the reasons that, let's say you think I'm overweight. Maybe your doctor has told you, I'm overweight, I need to lose weight. Instead of thinking, I need to lose 50 pounds by, January, instead think, I want to get my blood pressure down to this point. I want to be able to run a mile. I want to be able to do 10 push-ups. I want to be able to, go on a walk with my kids and not be super out of breath. You know how when your blood pressure is really high, you get foggy in your eyes. Maybe you want that not to happen to you, right? Really tangible goals that have really deep, heartfelt, foundational reasons that are really good and really important to you, as opposed to just an aesthetic looking a certain way that honestly people might not even notice if you lose 20 pounds. They really might not. So I would encourage you to make a list. And again, this is me. This is how I do things. I make lists. That's how I get anything done in my day. Maybe a list isn't for you. Maybe for you, it's going to someone, talking with them, and telling them, I'm going to do this. Maybe for you, that would be a much better way of keeping yourself accountable. For me, it helps me remember, number one, helps me remember that I ever made that goal, or to remember what my goals were at all. That's why I like lists, is it helps me with, I actually deal with a lot of foggy brain. I have a thyroid issue. And so sometimes I'll just go through a couple weeks and my brain's just really foggy. And there are things I can do to help with that, but it's just part of life. And so if I write things down, I'm not going to forget. As opposed to if I don't write it down, I'll be like, I know I was doing this for a reason, but I can't remember the reason. And then I might quit. So just think about, for you, what would be helpful. Maybe it would be posting on social media. Maybe it would be, talking to someone else who has the same issues as you. Or maybe it would be having a coach like me. Or maybe if you just know someone else who's really into fitness personally, you could talk to them. So I would really just encourage you, though, to make sure that it's a very tangible, doable thing. And to set it up in bite-sized pieces. Making yourself doable goals, setting yourself up for success, is how you're going to have success in the long run. So if you are constantly giving yourself goals that are huge, just ginormous goals, let's say that you need to lose 100 pounds. Let's say your doctor tells you need to lose 100 pounds. That is a freaking ginormous, super scary, exciting, but super scary, huge goal. I'm not saying you shouldn't lose that weight, but how you're going to get there is not, it could be, but for most people, it's not going to be by just focusing on lose 100 pounds. It's going to be much easier to lose those 100 pounds if you set really small goals and set yourself up for success. So instead of saying you diet for a month and you're like, well, I'm still 90 pounds overweight. What's the deal with this? Why keep going? Instead of having that struggle when you hit there, I want you to set a month goal that you know that you can hit. Maybe you won't hit it if you're lazy, but you can hit it. For instance, drinking water. Only water. Now that's something anyone can do, unless you have, I don't know of any medical condition where you have to drink something else, but just in case, because I don't know everything. But unless there's something like that that's going on, everyone can drink only water. Let's say you have that as a goal for a month, and by the end of that month, maybe you've lost 10 pounds, but you have also this amazing goal that you've reached to only drink water for a month. Like, who do you know who only drinks water, right? That's an amazing goal. So set yourself up for success with things like that you can accomplish. Another thing that I know anyone has the physical capacity to accomplish is to eat at least 2 vegetables a day. Now I know people are going to say, well, not everyone can afford that, and that is true. So if that is your case, then you'll have to find another doable goal. But I think for a lot of people where I live in the United States, that is a very doable goal because you can buy frozen vegetables and canned vegetables, which are really cheap. In comparison to fresh. And if you make that a goal, and then for a month you have eaten 2 vegetables every single day, whereas before you weren't really eating any vegetables, that is a huge accomplishment that you've just made. And maybe by then you're 2 months in to your however long your journey is going to be to lose 100 pounds. So do you see how setting these kinds of goals is going to really encourage you and drive you and help you know that you can do things? You can do things that are hard. You can do things that you've never done before, but because you're making them doable, you're setting yourself up for success. And you're actually, when you do things like this, when you succeed, your brain is being rewritten from going, I'm a failure, I fail at things. If that's your mindset, it might not be your mindset, but if that's your mindset, it's gonna help you rewrite that to know, I can succeed, I can do things. Because the thing is, in your brain, the pathways that are in there are physical. It's not just some random thing. There's actually neurons that connect together and they make physical pathways in your brain. So if all your life you've been told you're a failure, or if you've had a lot of failures in your life, your brain's gonna tell you there's no way you can do that, you're such a failure, right? Because it's a physical pathway. So you need to take control of your life and create a new pathway, and it's gonna be really hard. It's just like if you went out in these woods out here and there was no trail and you were trying to create a path through all these woods and weeds with no trail. It's gonna be hard the first time you do it. But once you do it, you got a little trail. So you go back through that same trail of success again the second time. So the first time it was water, the second time it's vegetables. You're going through there, whacking away those weeds. It's gonna be easier the second time. And the more you go down that path of success in your brain, telling yourself you can succeed, your brain will believe you and you'll be able to do it better. So I hope that this video has helped you in understanding. You gotta take it in bite-sized pieces. You really got to. And also, you really need to count the cost, and really more than counting the cost, think about the reasons that you're doing it. Because that's really, if you don't start from a good spot, if you start from a place of self-hate or a place of, I have to meet this superficial goal, you're probably gonna fail, or you're gonna end up in a place of disordered or unhealthy behavior. So on that very serious note, have a great day. Let me know down in the comments if this helped you. I will post clips of this on Instagram and maybe TikTok. So check me out there. See ya.